welcome to the Tipsy Beekeeper. Today I'm going to be doing an episode on some wine tasting of some wine that I made 2 weeks ago, and it's done fermenting. And I'm right now drinking some strawberry wine that I made a couple of weeks ago, which turned out way better than I expected it to. Oh, it's sweet. It tastes like strawberries. It's fantastic. So today's tasting is going to be my cherry maraschino wine. It's got 2 cinnamon sticks in it, maraschino cherries and cherry juice. I've got 2 just regular grape juices, and then this is a waste not want not bottle that I did of the extras from the cherry juices. So I combine the cherry juices and grape juice together. You can tell it's Christmas time. I got my Christmas shirt on that my wife made me. It's of course a bee with a Santa hat on. My wife's very creative that way, but we'll move on a little bit more. Okay, so I know that it's done fermenting because the balloons are no longer standing up. If you've seen in my other videos, when it's fermenting, the yeast releases gas, so the balloon stands up. The balloon stands up, no air, oxygen, or bugs or anything like that can get in because it's just pushing it all out. And it's just little pinpricks inside there. So today, basically what I'm doing is tasting it, and then I'm going to be transferring the juice over into these separate bottles because the yeast is all dead down at the bottom and it's yucky and nasty. I mean, it's not going to hurt you to drink it, but it's just not gonna. It's gonna be sludge going down your throat, which you don't want that. Plus, you got the cherries in here and the 2 cinnamon sticks, which you don't want to taste that either. But what we're gonna do is just pour off a little bit. I just don't want the cherries and cinnamon stick going all over the place. It's got a nice red color to it. Perfect. Cherries with a bit of cinnamon. I mean, again, it's nothing fancy. It's literally just cherry juice, maraschino cherries, and 2 cinnamon sticks. So that's exactly what you're going to be tasting, and it tastes fantastic. With a pretty decent alcohol content to it. It's not bad. So what I'm going to end up doing now is pouring this bottle into this bottle, minus the cherries and cinnamon stick and all that other kinds of stuff. I'm also going to add to it a spoonful of potassium metasulfite. Always mess that word up. That's going to make sure it kills off any yeast that's still alive in here. Because drinking live yeast, although it won't hurt you, it won't be pretty the next day in the restroom. So yeah, don't drink a whole bunch of live yeast. That's just my little warning for you. And also to make sure, never clean this bottle out in your sink because it's got live active yeast in it. You pour it down the drain. Now there's a whole bunch of food for that yeast to eat, and it will clog up your drains and just make a big gigantic mess. So rinse it out a whole bunch in the hose outside before you take it inside doing that. Alright, next on the taste list, let me get rid of this here, is going to be just my straight up grape juice. This is just regular old grape juice that you buy from the big box store. Absolutely nothing special about it. It's grape juice and a cup of sugar. Gotta first cleanse my palate. I've made this before and I really enjoy it. To me, most of the time, it always tastes like Smucker's grape jelly with alcohol. It's like taking a spoonful of grape jelly. It's just got alcohol in it. I've lowered the sugar content on it just because it was so sweet, but it still tasted really good. It smells a lot like sangria. Even though it's only got grape juice in it, it still smells a lot like sangria. Smucker's grape jelly. Just not as sugary because I have lowered the sugar content in it. But yeah, it's Smucker's grape jelly. Decent alcohol content. Tastes great. Another winner. Alright, again, I'm not going to drink a whole bunch of it because it's got the active yeast in it. And we don't want that. Going to do the exact same thing with this as I'm doing with that. Going to put a spoonful of the stuff that kills yeast. Because I ain't bother saying that name anymore. And I'm going to put it in the jar, shake it up a little bit. And there you go. Give it 24 hours to sit to make sure all the yeast is dead. And you got a gallon of wine that you made for like less than $5. Alright, so this one is my house red blend, I guess you want to call it. It's the first time I've ever tried this, so it should be interesting to see how it comes out. Normally when I pour off the juice from these, I just drink it, right there as I'm making it. But I decided to combine them together to see what kind of a taste we have going on with that. So again, gotta cleanse the palate. Alright. Again, this is half and half grape juice and the leftover cherry juice from where I made my cherry wine. Smells drier, like a dry wine. It's not more cherry and it's not more grape. It's definitely a combination of the two. Neither one's standing out more than the other. Not what I expected. I expected a little bit more flavorful. I expected, because it had the two different ones in there, I expected something even more either sangria tasting or more fruity tasting. But it's surprisingly a little bland. Good alcohol content, but just not as flavorful as I'd like. I mean, it's not bad. Just doesn't got as much zing into it as I'd like. That's why I've started doing stuff like adding the extra cherries and the cinnamon sticks to stuff, because it gives that little bit of extra flavoring of zing. Otherwise, you're just drinking juice with alcohol in it. Don't get me wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with drinking juice with alcohol in it. I do it every day. So that's today's taste testing. Again, I'm going to move all these over into fresh, clean bottles with the yeast killer. Let them sit for 24 hours. And I'm going to have 4 gallons of wine from the Tipsy Beekeeper. Until next time, bottoms up.